Hello, hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to another episode of the Worthiness Codes Podcast. I'm your host, Jaclyn Francis, and as always, it is so beautiful to be in the space with you today. So, we are diving into part 2 of last week's episode. Last week, I talked about the father wound and anxious attachment. Today, we are diving into the mother wound and avoidant attachment. If you didn't listen to last week's episode, I highly suggest doing so either before or after this episode. The reason being is because as humans, I explained this in the first episode, we all have feminine and masculine energies within us. I believe that we all hold father wounds and mother wounds within us because of ancestral related wounding. While at the same time, I believe that our parents, bless their souls, they did the best that they could with what they know, right? So we never hold anything against them. But there will be wounding stemmed from both your mother and both your father. To what degree depends on yourself, depends on your journey, depends on your parents, depends how it presented itself to you in this lifetime. And it depends on, the journey that you had, what you went through in your life. But even if the father wound has not been something that has come to surface yet or may ever come to surface, I think having the awareness about it is important because if it ever does, you have the tools to be able to move through it. While at the same time, if someone that you're dating has a father wound and an anxious attachment, you have the awareness to recognize it, to help guide them. And usually those things trigger things within you. So overall, it's just a good and helpful thing to know. But if you don't feel called, that's totally fine as well. Go ahead. We're going to dive into it. Go ahead and grab a pen and paper, open your notes app, because I really want to make this super digestible for you as we dive into the mother wound and avoidant attachment. As I said, mother wound and avoidant attachment, typically from my own experience in life and what I've seen and heard from others, manifests within the masculine, manifests within men, is more prevalent within men. Now, what I will say, this is not always the case. Typically, we attract partners from a place of our wounding. We can look at it that way. That's more of the negative type. I don't really like to say that. I like to say that we attract romantic partners from the vibrational frequency that we hold. The reason why I tend to use romantic partners as examples when I talk about this stuff is because being in relationship is the most potent container that you can step into that will help you grow if you're aware of it, especially. And we should all become aware of this, because why are we going to be sleepy throughout our whole life? Why would we want to be in a relationship where we break up and then we continue repeating the same patterns? We enter in relationships with the knowing, or I should say we should enter into relationships with the knowing that that person is going to help us grow and help us expand, whether that's for a short period of time or if that's for the rest of our lives. It doesn't matter. We don't need to know. There doesn't need to be attachment to it. But as women, right, we typically will attract a man that holds the polarity of our wounds, because the polarity is meant to trigger that wounding within us. So the mother wound, from my experience, has manifested within men because of the avoidant attachment style. While at the same time, I know that because I know my father wound was probably more prevalent, that needed to be healed over the mother wound. That doesn't mean that the father wound is bigger than the mother wound whatsoever. I think what it means is that at this point in my journey, that's what wants to come to surface. While there are still very much aspects of the mother wound that need to be worked through, doesn't mean it necessarily needed to be triggered by a partner. That could just be more prevalent within my own conscious awareness, and I could handle it on my own. And I'm sharing this with you so you understand that there, again, is no right or wrong way in doing this. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't, but the invitation is here to just become more aware of wounding and how it can present itself to you. In last week's episode, I shared a screenshot. I'm going to share it again in case you're watching on YouTube, and you can just screenshot it. Here you go. And this was just, I'm a very visual person, so I like to draw out things sometimes because it helps me understand. But essentially what it is the screenshot I shared, if you're not watching on YouTube, is a drawing of how the mother wound manifests inside the heart chakra, and the other wounding, the smaller woundings, the patterns, the energies that present itself that stem from that mother wound. So let's dive into what the mother wound is. The mother wound is a wounding that stems from your own mother, as well as from the maternal lineage within your ancestral line. So because wounding is cyclical and it can date back, ancestral wounding can date back 7 generations past. If you are someone that works with ancestral healing and ancestral trauma within yourself and your lineage, it's because you were meant to clear it so the 7 generations to come don't have to deal with that shit. So if you're the lucky one that came here to do that, I feel you so deeply because it's a lot. It's a lot. We agreed to it. We chose ourselves to do it. The ancestors are here to help us, so it's important to ask for their help always. Anyway, side note. So the mother wound stems from your mother. Usually we are most conscious about what presents itself to us in our own life, our past, what we went through as children, what we went through as adolescents, what we're going through as adults, even dating back to when we were in the womb. You know, what was happening between your mother and father when you were in the womb space. That is very much a part of your journey, and you picked up on that trauma even when you were not even born yet. So it's all very interesting, but I want you to become aware of maybe what has happened in your own relationship with your mom. What does that relationship look like? Was there something big that happened in your life that maybe caused this wound to manifest? Were there more little things? Maybe it's not like a huge big T trauma. Maybe it's a small T trauma. What were some of the things that could be causing this mother wound to manifest? Now, the mother wound typically will show up as an avoidant attachment energy because of its polarity to anxious attachment. Again, it doesn't always manifest this way. A mother wound can also have anxious attachment, right? It just depends on what is presenting itself to you. But again, from my experience and what I see, someone with a mother wound is having avoidant attachment styles because the mother wound is all about receiving validation, receiving that love, receiving that care. You can have a mom who was super loving, super caring, super nurturing, but for some reason there was a need for validation, and maybe you didn't get that validation, right? Again, it's your journey. That's why I'm inviting you to take notes, because I want you to go back and really dive into all of this stuff to see how it's manifesting for you. But the avoidant attachment is stemming from the mother wound because of the resistance that, again, we're talking about the masculine predominantly here, but it can manifest within the feminine, because of the resistance that they felt from their mom and expressing that love, that nurture, that validation to them. They are now not able to express that outwardly to others. So the only way to make themselves feel safe, to protect themselves, is not to anxiously attach, right? To not hold on to something and people please and have nervousness and be like, I'm here, I'm not going anywhere, like, don't leave me, as the father wound does within woman. But it's the complete opposite of that. It's avoidant attachment. So it's completely pushing away. It's saying, no, thank you, I'm good alone, I'm good here, because I hold resistance within giving and receiving and being able to feel and be able to express myself. And this all is housed within the heart chakra, because when we look at the heart chakra, again, this is a feminine energy. So it's the polarity to the root chakra. It's the polarity to the feminine. The heart chakra is all about unconditional love. It's all about feeling. It's all about expressing. It's all about being able to be nurturing and caring and give love and receive love. So this all lives in the heart chakra. So to heal this is working not with the masculine energy and healing that, but working with the feminine energy and healing your feminine energy. So it's really going into your heart and feeling all of those energies and seeing where you're blocked and moving into your feminine energy and seeing where in life you're not leaning into your healthy feminine energy. Or if there's a masculine in your life that is presenting these woundings to you, how are they not leaning into their feminine energy? Are they loving themselves? Do they fully love themselves? Do they give themselves self-love? Are they able to easily express themselves, or are they pulling back, right? These energies can be super apparent or they can be not as apparent. Again, there's no right, there's no wrong. We should never judge. It's just becoming aware so we can help one another in life or help yourself. So the foundation or the anchor that is needed to heal this wound or these wounds is cultivating a connection to the heart. So in the first episode, I said it's all about feeling safe in your body so you can feel safe within the presence of the masculine to move out of that anxious attachment into secure attachment. I don't even think I said that, but that's what the goal is, to be in secure attachment. For this, it's being in your heart space, knowing that you are safe within your heart to give and receive love, allowing yourself to receive love, not push it away, but accept it. Right? So it's working within those energies so you can move away from avoidance, move away from pushing away to become secure, to know that you are safe to give and receive love, to express yourself fully from your heart, not from your ego. So when you do this, you'll begin again to give and receive love within yourself. But because everything within yourself manifests within your external, you'll therefore be able to then receive love from the feminine. You'll be able to receive the feminine energy that is in your external. So if you are a man dating a woman, a man who has avoidant attachment style, a man who has a mother wound, you are then able to fully receive the feminine energy, receive all of the love, all of the nurturing, all of the caring that naturally and innately comes from her and not push it away. If you are a woman that has the mother wound and avoidant attachment, you are healing the feminine within yourself. So then probably you are able to more outwardly express it to the masculine. Again, it's going to depend how it manifests for you. So there are a lot of layers to everything that I just explained. It's merely impossible to sit here and dive into all of the detail because these things are not by the book. No matter how someone wants to share it with you, I truly believe you can Google what is avoidant attachment and it will give you an explanation, but it goes so much deeper than that because we are all unique. We go through unique experiences within life. We show up in our own ways. Energy has so many layers to it. Wounding has so many layers to it that it will unravel itself the way it's supposed to. It will manifest the way it's supposed to. So these things can't just be taught by the book. I truly believe that. I know I am someone who is meant to learn through experience and share my experiences with you to help guide others. But I truly believe that even if the brightest of brightest people teach this stuff from, who have a degree in psychology, who are therapists, you can teach it and it will resonate. And I'm sure it is very accurate and helpful. But I also think that it goes so much deeper. And that's why when people go and see therapists, they're not just sitting there reading off a definition to you. Even therapists are going to try to get to the core of it. So be your own therapist, be your own guru, be your own healer. Get to the core of all of these things. See how it's showing up for you, whether that's from a conscious mental standpoint and you want to weave through the thread and jot it down in your notebook, whether you're more energetic like myself and you really want to dive into the energies and dive into the depth and transmute, I think that stuff is so fun. Allow yourself to do that. You are your own healer at the end of the day. However, you want to be your own healer is up to you. Know that you have the power to do so and give yourself permission to really dive into all of these things. So, go ahead and go back and listen to episode 1 or part 1 if you haven't, because if this isn't manifesting for you in your life right now, but you're in a relationship or you have a brother or a sister or you're a close friend who's of the opposite sex, like not even of the opposite sex, it can be the same sex. It doesn't matter because this will manifest however it wants to manifest. But the point is that even if it's not manifesting for you right now, maybe it has in the past, now you're aware, maybe it will in the future, maybe it won't in the future, but because you digested this information, you can then help guide someone else to become aware. And this is how the collective wakes up. This is how, as a society, as humanity, we become better, because we're all mirrors for one another. We are all mirrors for one another at the end of the day. And if you can be a guiding voice to just share your insight with someone else, if they are open to receiving it, always ask for permission first, or gently just share your point of view, share what you have learned here today in a gentle, loving way, we are making one another better. We are here to guide each other home. That is the point of life. Of course, it's about bringing yourself back into wholeness within, but you are here to help others as well. If you have a higher self-awareness than your friend group, if you are more consciously aware than the people around you, show up in that light. Show up in that light, speak your truth, share what you know, because that's what we came here to do. And with that said, I'm going to wrap today's episode, and we will be back with a guided meditation to really move through these energies. As always, I hope this helped. If you have questions, feel free to reach out, subscribe, leave them in the comment section, especially on YouTube. I would love comments and I would love to reply to start a little dialogue. And yeah, I love you. I love you. I love you. Until next time. Bye.